This was the week where every Christmas villain, from the Grinch to Krampus to Scrooge, looked at Donald Trump and was like, damn, that's cold. Because the lame duck president threatened to not sign a COVID relief bill and a federal funding bill, which would have delayed unemployment checks and stimulus payments to Americans, and of course, might have shut down the government. But just before we went on air, Trump did find the goodness in his heart. His little heart grew 10 times like the Grinch, because we were all like, Yahoo Doris, Yahoo Doris, give me money. Okay. And Trump signed the fucking bill. Of course, it is not the $2,000 that he said that he wanted. It was the $600 that Congress had to haggle over and finally agreed upon. It is absolutely a lump of coal, but hey, I'm taking that coal.
Yeah, coal makes fire and keeps houses warm. I mean,
absolutely. And
silver lining of getting coal in your stocking.
Just so you guys are clear, I think there's been some confusion about this bill, because it was both a federal spending bill and the COVID relief bill lumped into one. And so the fact that there were line items that Trump was upset about, in fact, those were line items that he himself proposed, right? Like things like funding to governments around the world, you know, and like democracy promotion, or like funding the Smithsonian, or funding the Kennedy Center. And he was like, he's basically railing against those things. Those were in his own office's motherfucking budget. Like, and honestly, to lump those two things together and wait for Trump to sign them is like making your ex-boyfriend the ring bearer and having him plan your wedding. Like, why would you do that? You know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be on fire.
Yeah. And then he's going to steal all the chicken and the fish and leave with it.
Absolutely.
In the van.
And make out with your maid of honor.
Yeah. You have a really shitty ex.
Yeah. And whatever, roll a sex tape. There's going to be some revenge porn. Whatevs. But I want to play this clip for you really quick and get your guys' thoughts. This is where Trump was 3 days before Christmas. This was his argument for not signing this stimulus when he should have.
I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me.
What? That's where he is now, apparently, with the whole stop the steal, is like, maybe I'll do a coup.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't.
Coups to say.
That's stupid.
But I mean, Tej, where were you when you heard that he wanted to hold this up for $2,000 checks? And what were your thoughts on that when he floated that?
Yeah, and you know, I think it's a lot of it is. I mean, this is some of his success is the way that he has worn us down, and sort of have to respond to these games and these maneuvers. So it's become normal for us, and that's probably his biggest success over the last 5 years.
Right.
That we can't even really talk about the suffering that's happening in this country and this month because of that. But it's, you know, it's just staggering how, you know, you have McConnell as sort of the cold face of total austerity and no kind of any relief of any kind, the most extreme nightmare neoliberalism. And Trump is the face of the exact same thing, but delivered, some media will say he's a populist and he's actually intriguing, but he's not really intriguing. He's doing that same McConnell, Paul Ryan, Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged thing, but with these games, and it's stunning. And the thing will be for progressives in the next month or two and into January, February to point back and say, let's look at the suffering that was happening and let's look at what we need to do now to really turn the page on this.
For sure.
It can't just be normalized.
Yeah, I mean, this was the moment where I was like, oh shit, like, if he somehow, and even me, I'm like, oh man, is he going to do this? That would be great for people. But that would also be this like sort of last minute. I've always been afraid that Trump does the right thing in a way, only because it'll give him way more popularity. And yet, I mean, then we'll be in that bind, which is arguably a better bind than him doing always the wrong thing. Right. But I think from a political narrative, it's like, here's this person who might actually deliver on his populism, or his fake populism, as we all know. And that's initially when he first came to office, like Bernie Sanders was getting reamed because he was like, look, I'll work with Trump if Trump wants to help working people, as he said on the campaign trail. I won't work with him around, a Muslim ban. I won't work with him around, the xenophobic stuff, but I'll work with him around these other things. And he didn't, know. So, and you could see, Rashida Tlaib and AOC putting forward this like last minute $2,000 stimulus check to every American. And of course, like clockwork, House Republicans voted it down.
Yeah.
They are the Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern of this Christmas.
They're the wet bandits.
They're the sticky bandits.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's
I forgot
Home Alone too.
They updated. Yeah, it's interesting because it almost seems like what Trump did was this really brilliant tactic. Trying to get $2,000, what he did was he forced the vote, and then the vote went exactly as we knew it would, which was the Republicans shot it down. Yeah. And then he signed the bill anyways. So it's almost like that tactic does nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he proved his own point, which is that he's always been a fake populist, and he'll just use the noise to get elected. He'll say, I'll deliver something better than Obamacare. Yeah. Oh, it'll be better than Obamacare. Yes, universal health care. Everyone deserves health care. Yeah. Where's the fucking plan? There is no health care plan.
It's his very specific way of what he thinks is negotiation, which is like whining and then trying to just say, I'm going to do this thing. And he thinks he can do these things unilaterally. And then he did, everything that you would expect someone who's pressuring Congress to do. I'm going to stop, millions of Americans from receiving, unemployment benefits, stimulus, and we're going to do this or you're not getting it at all. And they were like, nah. And he was like, fine. Yeah. And I guess to me, it's so interesting because these are all Trump loyalists, supposedly, right? On paper, in theory, they're all supposed to be loyalists. They do whatever he says. But then as soon as he wants them to do this $2,000, then they're like, oh, no, we're not there with you. Yeah. So it's bizarre to me. It's a bait and switch. And it's also like a kind of completely revealing that, he is all talk and he is not able. He is being used by his party just as much as his party is using him. And he delivered them the presidency. And I'm curious to see where all this is going to go. I mean, I'm not saying his political career is done, but I think it is very revealing what just happened, that when push came to shove, that loyalism did nothing to push through his bullshit, working man, hero type, whatever, his narrative that he wants to like be respected for. Anyway, and so here we are, $600 a pop. Cool. And sick, bro. Hell yeah. I'm going to use that to pay a third of my rent. Very exciting.
It's and yay, I'm glad that like the government has been funded. Can we just sign a bit? Can we just do that for the next 3 years? Yeah. Is that how it works? Can it not work like that?
I mean, what's annoying about the government being funded is all the stuff that they fund that is just garbage too. I mean, that was the thing about what this bill was tied to, was a list of countries who were getting, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
And
I don't know. You just,
and some of them I'm like, I don't want to be like a crazy isolationist. Like, I'm not saying that like I know where that money should not go to like gender programs in Pakistan. Like,
right.
That
or $1 billion to Egypt, where I'm like,
$1 billion to Egypt's military. That I have more of an issue with.
yeah, well, no, but that's what I'm saying. So I just kind of go like, you live in so much non-transparency when it comes to how they spend the money that I don't know. Didn't he not sign the military bill recently? Didn't he knock that?
The NDAA.
Yeah, and part of me was like, I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that.
Right.
Like,
I'm okay with parts of that.
Yeah. You know, it's like it's.
But then you find out his reasoning is all like, because we're not selling enough weapons.
Right. I know it's always the
Yeah.
worst possible scenario for why he's not doing something. But you're just like, oh, God.
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That's probably because you like left politics and comedy. And me is gonna deliver. I mean, I am going to deliver more of that. So why don't you subscribe to this channel right now and you'll never miss another show again. Ever again.